I don't know why some people just crave donuts. I know. Okay, if I watch like those YouTube videos or I think Brooklyn Nine-Nine got a few episodes they talk about donuts. Sometimes get a bit like, oh, you want to try, but most
Cops
of the
and
time,
donuts.
yeah, don't really associate with eating donuts as like a cheat food or whatever. What's your cheat food? Something that you love?
I've mentioned this before. Either like croissants,
Mm-hmm.
or cheesecakes.
Oh, cheesecake. Oh yeah, cheesecakes are for me. Anything baked is already like not everything is a cheat food lah, but most of the baked stuff that I like are sweet, like those with sweeter taste on, either sweet fillings or some powdered sugar on it, icing. Yeah,
Mm.
yam. I love yam paste.
Yam paste.
Yeah, those are my guilty pleasure. A lot of sugar, but I like it. Yeah. I know some people love ice cream. I personally I don't get it. Like I can go like a year without ice cream. Some people just they see ice cream in the grocery store and I don't know, they're like, oh, don't tempt me or whatever. To them, it's difficult to resist ice cream. Something about sugar and the fats.
And fats. Don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I see ice cream more as a social treat.
Social treat.
Whether it's utilizing the peak end rule, so dessert is always served like the last course, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's always just like a means of, let's say, sealing the deal to like a very nice, maybe fancy or meaningful meal, yeah, with close ones, maybe family. Then after that, it's like dessert. Let's get dessert so that can round it off to the end, because that's what we remember. The peak and rule. You remember only the highest high or lowest low of a certain event, and then the ending of the event, and that's your memory of an event.
Okay. But I think everyone
It's a cope also.
everyone cope that they need to eat desserts or whatever or like junk food in order to bulk or in order to do well in gym. I know of people that usually those are skinnier guys that don't really gain a lot of fat. They usually use dessert to bulk. But
Dirty bulking, yeah.
I think personally, you just want the glycogen. So I think the better way to bulk and it's cheaper also is via fruits. I think something that I've been doing quite a lot, just fruits before gym. And personally, I love apples. I don't know why people don't like eating apple. Just I can like down one big apple in like less than 2 minutes. Yeah. So it is nice, very sweet. It's filling. Like I tried eating like 5 apples in one sitting before, and I'm yeah, it's not good. It's
I don't
very
think, yeah,
filling.
it's impossible.
Yeah.
Not impossible, but do you want to be the one to try
I did it
again?
before. A
Again.
lot of times actually.
Oh, a lot of
When I'm
time.
like craving and like having the munchies.
The munchies.
Yeah.
Isn't that for like what, weed or something?
For me it's like daily life.
Yeah, daily life.
Yeah.
I mean, we do you want to go into what gym bulking and then cutting, because there's a lot of I think starting off with like what's common sense isn't always common practice. So people can like hear, they can like most people intuitively know like if they want to lose weight, this is what they have to do.
Okay.
If they want to like gain weight, you just have to like eat more or something like. But then it's like what you want to eat, everything, all the specifications, right? And then they just sort of they think they make a big deal of it in their mind, and then so they just don't do the basics even.
Right. It's the 80-20 lah. They missed out on the 20% and give them the 80%. The high leverage tasks.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me currently, I'm kind of on the end of a bulk. Because for me, usually when I bulk is when I cope because I eat a lot. Then I just work harder in the gym to offset it. To me, it's more because I've been like 3 years into like proper gymming, I guess. I mean, the first year is always like just trying things out, just doing a lot of bicep curls, that's all.
Newbie, not even newbie gains because you're not even training effectively.
Okay, because I did it in secondary school, so I had the foundation of the mind muscle connection. It's just I didn't train for the aesthetic. I just train to like you don't train for the peak, you don't train for whatever. It's just the normal standing curl.
And you like know what? Slow down the eccentric. You're just like like that. Or you always
I
try
did
to
slow
be
down. I did slow down.
Ooh.
I think the eccentric part is like in between, like along the way is everywhere the advice. So I've been doing that properly. But it became intuitive because after 3 years, all you want to do is to live healthier. And if you have some unhealthy things, you will need to offset it. Like the baseline has increased. Like if I eat this, I feel this shit. And in order to not feel as shit, I need to do this. And the protocols to like reverse the damage for me usually are learned from more like esoteric methods. Like in the sense that it's not the traditional go on a diet. I think that is the most mainstream, just chicken breast broccoli for the next 3 weeks to offset. For me, it's more like I walk more to burn more of the fat. I'll put back the fat, but at least I know I'm burning some first. Because walking, like we talk about it, tap into your fat for fuel. Then for me, I'll do fasts because it's an easy way to control my, I guess, cravings. When I'm hungry and fasted, just need to drink water, let it pass. But when I'm in an eating window, it's harder for me to. It takes more willpower. Yeah. So for me, now I'm coming off a bulk. I eat a lot of fruits, a lot of honey, a lot of yogurt, Greek yogurt. Those are very fattening. Like if you eat a lot of it, I can eat a whole tub, like 1 kg of it in one sitting.
Wow.
Yeah, with like honey in it. So I eat a lot. Yeah, so now I'm coming off a bulk. The thing about bulking is you feel your shirts out. You look big. You kind of get the attention that a lot of bodybuilders want. But when you're lean, you look skinny in a shirt. Yeah, it's something I think to a lot of people is like very
the mental like paradox. You're either too small inside a shirt and then but you look insane shirtless. Then after that, when you're on the bulk, you fill up shirts, but then when you're shirtless, you look just plump. And it's like mental, like you get into ruts, like bad loops.
I think to me, because this is the first time I ever gotten the skinny experience. Not really skinny, but the leaner and
the leanest you've
experience.
ever been in,
yeah,
like super long, right?
Yeah, I think episode 15. The episode was when I was like one of my leanest time. I feel very small. Like even I wore the polo tee, it didn't even fill up my sleeve. Usually I'll fill up my sleeve because usually I'll have fats and whatever. And then after a pump also, when I'm on carnivore during the cut, there's no pump. It feels terrible to gym for me. I haven't gotten used to it. My body haven't gotten used to it. But right now, I think the good thing about being pumped it's not it's not that you look bad shirtless. It's more like your face full of fats. Especially if you are like doing content. It comes off very obvious.
Yeah, what the camera like puts on
10 pounds.
10 pounds.
It's like 4 10 pounds what? 3 kg. Yeah, around there. 4 kgs. 4 point something kg. Yeah. But the point is it's the face. Makes you look better. Yeah. Especially under lighting. Like
more harsh or
yeah.
studio.
But to put on muscle, you have to go through the bulk phase. Unless, even if you do the cleanest bulk, in order to bulk and still feel good in the gym and like pushing to failure every reps, you have to, I think the surplus need to be a bit higher. Like clean bulk doesn't mean you barely exit the surplus. You exit the surplus enough for you to really feel it in the gym.
I think it's definitely there's always like how lean of a bulk you want to go.
Yeah.
If it's like what 250 calories or something,
I
then
think
it's slow.
those-
That's very very lean, like slowly.
Those are barely even a bulk. It's more like maintenance, but you still build muscle. Honestly, like 250 calories, I tried before. Because that time I wanted to body recomp.
Mhm.
The performance in the gym and the muscle I've built doesn't feel like a bulk. Like, of course, it's still a bulk. It's still a lean bulk, but it doesn't feel like it. Yeah. Then if you're the type of person that like zone into one goal first, like the immersion, then you go seasons of life lah. If your season of life is bulking, then I don't recommend just 250 calories. At least reach like 500. Go 500
Okay,
extra.
like the thing is that always the main idea is you in a caloric surplus, there'll always be a limit to how much muscle you can gain. But then the fat you can gain is always like not exponentially higher, but quite a lot higher.
Yep.
So you ideally this is a really ideal best case scenario. You gain like 50% fat and 50% muscle also like, at the same time. And that's all the like caloric surplus like that you're inputting into your body. That's why if you raise too high, like I think really the ideal is like somewhere near 500 calories, 250 to 500 calories.
250. Yeah. And the choice of food matters as well. The macros and how clean the sources of food is. If it's a ultra processed food, then
if it's carbs,
that 500 calories don't feel good in the gym at all.
There was like some study where basically they were in a caloric surplus, but they were just eating more protein, like emphasizing protein, and then they gain, even though they were in a caloric surplus, they gain even more muscle and like even like lost some fat.
But I think protein is a tricky thing because for different people they treat food very differently. For me, protein is a way for me to not eat as much. Although now I've trained myself to eat a lot of meat in one sitting. Like you say, just ate 10 pieces of ribeye in one sitting. But I've been able to surpass like the satiety effect of protein, so I can eat more. But for a lot of people, skinnier people that trying to bulk, that 500 calories to them is very difficult to attain. And eating just plain protein or like they drink 2 shakes of whey protein will just limit will destroy their bulk. Like they will start to get more inconsistent. It's harder for them to reach that 500 surplus. Yeah, for bigger people that overeat, changing out the calories to more protein intake will definitely help you to burn more fats while building more muscle. You still gain weight because calorie surplus, but because of what's the burning effect called?
Thermogenesis. I don't think that's correct.
I think something like that. Basically, there's a higher thermic effect, right? Basically, protein increases your body temperature while digesting it, while processing it.
Thermoregulation or something like that. I mean, with bulking and I guess bulking as a whole, there's a lot we could cover. I'm thinking.
You also recently went on a bulk, right?
Yeah.
How was it?
Yeah, the thing is that the bulk was more like a side project. First of all, right, bulking as a whole, if you really want to go into, it's like, do you really want to make like bulking your entire like priority at one season of life?
I think it really depends on your goals.
Yeah.
Some people, they want to wait for something. Let's say for gym progress, they want to put on as much size first for their, if they want to, I don't know what people, I don't really see the need to bulk because I'm always big. So
for you, it's just been like, first of all, it's like the cut.
Yeah, so for cutting, there's a lot of reasons for me. Like personally, if I want to cut, let's say like I want to film more content this month. Let's say I want to, there's a lot of benefit. Like if you want to go on dates or whatever, you want to quickly get into a cut zone, or you want to go overseas, you want to film yourself, take pictures, cutting. A lot of people cut for those reasons, but for bulking,
it's very, very context dependent. And then for you with your podcasting, being on camera, your videos, and also just experiencing life, it makes sense because I mean you were overweight. I also was overweight. That's why I started off with losing from like 70 kg, I lost all the way down to like 60, like in the span of like 2 months of carnivore. For you, you did it. You lost your how many kg again?
In 5 weeks time, I lost about, I think 7
kg.
Yeah, about almost 1.5 months in. Yeah,
1.5 months. But before that, like overall, how much have you lost since then?
You mean before carnivore?
Yeah, like overall, like until you got to your lightest.
I was 143, then I hover around 93, 94. So 50 kgs.
50 kgs?
Yeah. I lost 50 kgs from March 2021. Yeah.
Just imagining like someone actually weighs that weight, the amount of weight you've lost.
50 kg is a lot.
You lost an entire person's worth of weight.
And the thing with 50 kg that people think it's easy for me to say because like I've said so much to the point that it becomes a bit like wallpaper.
It's normal to you.
Wallpaper.
Yeah.
But if I let you rock on 50 kg and ask you go for a walk, without a doubt, you'll start sweating like within like a few steps. Because those are very heavy loads on your body.
That's more than 3/4 of my body weight. I would just like boom.
Yeah, so it's like it's not easy to walk around with those weights. So I can relate to people that are fat now, but doesn't mean that I think what they are doing is right. I still judge them in the sense that I know they are struggling. I know they might have like their own issue, but if this is putting on so much toll on your body, you probably need to find a way to seek help, or you yourself need to want to change. Yeah. So now I look at fat people, love-hate relationship. Okay, no love. Yeah, there is love in the sense that I got grace for them because I've been there for like most of my life. I'm severely overweight, obese even. Like, okay, it's always obese, but yeah, very, very bad. When I was primary 1, I was already 48 kgs. And that is like heavier than, I just told my mom yesterday, that's heavier than some 30-year-old female walking around. They are not even 50 kgs. And I'm already heavier than them when I was 7 years old. Yeah, just to put things in perspective. I'm always big size, overweight. Yeah.
I mean, it is just with people who are now maybe fat or obese. They need that wake up call or like that reason to want to change.
Because to them, in their head, the change is so much more painful than whatever they are experiencing now. So for your bulk, you say it was your side project. What do you see improve the most, or like what kind of workout do you do?
Improve the most.
Yeah. How do you do your bulk? How do you go about bulking?
Okay. For this bulk, it wasn't really the most optimal. It's not very clear because it was a side thing to me. I was also did not have access to the gym at all. So I was training mostly at home with resistance bands or all those like screw on dumbbells, and also body weight with I have a calisthenics bar hanging at home. I recently got what do you call those rings? Gymnastic rings. Yeah, I got those, but I have not had the time to figure those out. I want to get into that soon.
Those is just for forearm, right? You use more of your forearm to stabilize when you're doing the exercise.
You can do like cool stuff. I know, like, and you can even go outside, like hanging on a tree, and then like I want to.
Sometimes I go on a walk. There's always like these two guys that under the HDB, they just throw it over the, some over the roof. They got like those just
something to hang on. Yeah,
then they frames. Just hang on that. Yeah, on those frames.
I mean, do you watch like the Hamza old videos, like where he was just in like the trees, whatever. Like,
I saw, but I always block it out because to me, there's no utility. I can never do that at that point of time.
oh yeah.
Even to today, the most I can do is like pull-ups, like very strict form pull-ups. I can't. A lot of calisthenics I haven't unlocked yet. Yeah. So you say your all these workouts, but you consider them as part of your bulk.
I mean, they're just part of training, which is
Okay.
what because okay, I never looked at my body as sort of my focus or priority at any point, because it is okay. Physical health and everything.
Yeah.
With fat people or fit people, fat or fit. It signals your habits. Basically, like a fit person, what do you do on a day-to-day? Do you take care of your health? Or you may be genetically gifted, like, oh, I just am ripped, like naturally your hormones all work like perfectly fine, you're like unfazed by plastics and everything.
Unfazed.
That could be good. That could be you, I mean, but like that's not most of everyone else. So if you look at the average person, and okay, besides the fact that the average person is now fat, depressed, anxious, all that stuff.
Actually, in Singapore, not really.
Yeah, not in Singapore. Yeah,
not in Singapore. The blue zone.
But even in Singapore, like there are the rates of.
There are a lot.
It's more in the children. The obesity rates of children also is, and all that is going up. For elderly, maybe not because they have. I mean, all the survivorship bias.
It also depends on the area you go, the culture, the habits. Like if you live near a place with a lot of fast food, you'll see a lot of unhealthy people. Today I took a different route to the studio. Went to one of the MRT stations, called Boon King, and I see opposite there's a KFC, behind me there's a Mac, around me there's just like fast food restaurants, hawker centers, all this. And most of the people there at that timing about 9 a.m. they all don't look as healthy. There are a few that are carrying the badminton racket going to play badminton. Those are the healthier ones. But usually those older folks there, or there's a lot of obese people there, basically. I think it really depends on the area you stay as well. Like some areas are just built for, there are more access to healthier food.
It's environment, and then it's also the people around you.
Yeah.
People and environment.
Because if you see someone fatter than you walking around, you feel better about yourself. In some sense, like, not to say like it's an ego thing or whatsoever. It's more like you're like, oh, I'm not that bad. I don't need to do anything.
And involuntary.
Yeah. I could have been that guy, but I'm not. So okay.
Comparison.
Let me give myself some like leeway when I eat my next Big Mac.
It is like habitual change at like on a baseline level.
Yeah.
It is just you want to find tribes of people who are like-minded. And if the people you're surrounded with are all okay with you being fat, their standards are maybe low for you. They don't see the potential in you. They don't see like how much better your life could be if you got your health in order. Then you will never break out of that ceiling.
Yep.
Because you're stuck in that sort of sphere, that tribe, where they don't care about your.
And the longer you stay in there, the harder it is to get out. Because you learn a lot of things from them, and to unlearn or to replace those learned behaviors with something else takes time.
Takes or a really drastic change, whether it's a health scare or.
Yeah. That's why, as a former fatty, during my basically majority, like I would say 90% of my NSF days, like serving as basically as an army man, people around me order in a lot of fast food almost like every other day. And I made it like at the start they keep asking me, do you want to join in on the order? Because like it's cheaper when everyone order, then you share the delivery fee. But I always said, nah, it's fine. I just eat whatever actual food that it provide as basically our camps provide us with 3 meals a day. Yeah. So I just eat whatever food that they have. And till today, I think they've ordered a lot. Like every other day, they will order one, sometimes Mac or whatever. And it's hard to vibe with people when you don't even eat the same food as them. And
Yeah.
you have very different expectations, or when they're ordering in, they're eating together at the same time, group together, they text each other more. There are more frequencies and more topics to share. Oh, you want to eat together? Like it's a form of like it's kind of like your drinking buddies. If you drink with someone, you develop that bond, but once you guys stop drinking, you kind of lose that bond. So technically, it's not really a good bond. But for me, I don't really bond with my uh I guess army mates as much as I would like, just because we have very different goals, and I try not to let myself get affected by my environment based on my goals. Like I ground myself in my goals. Like at the start of the year, we sat together in the room next door and we set our goals. We treat ourselves as like accountability group. Yeah. With some of our mastermind groups. No, mastermind group mates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I ground myself in those. So I don't let the people around me to lower my baseline. And I say lower in the nicest way possible, because personally, to me, eating fast food, no matter how fit you are, is not ideal. It's lower than just eating normal food. Even if I still have like sometimes I still go into like binge eating phases, like recently the bulk that I did. I would consider that maybe a light eating disorder or some sort. I use it to eat my feelings or whatever. But if I choose better food to eat, to me, that caloric surplus is better than eating a right amount of unhealthy junk. To me, at least I feel better. I go to the gym, I can push myself more. There's a like personal anecdotal example that I can give. I really feel better, and even though I feel better in the gym physically, mentally, of course, like fuck, I just ate 2,000 calories extra. It doesn't feel good. I have to go on fast, then you start feeling like shame or guilt, whatever. But physically, with the extra calories, I'm able to push myself more. Just like you said that it's a bulk, it's part of your training. But do you push yourself to failure, or is it just stimulation, like normal kind of like gym workout?
The thing is, first of all, it wasn't a gym even.
Okay.
At most it was like at the park near my work. I'll walk by, then I'll just Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Or I tried to. That's the ideal. But obviously things happen. And I'll try to go at least 2 times a week.
Okay.
And I'll go there and use the lead machine, like one-handed, try to do it, like then I do the other one, then that go all the way to failure, do like what?
Okay.
Reps, what do you call it? Half reps, everything.
Partial,
so,
yeah.
Partial. Yeah.
Partial reps helps with hypertrophy a lot. Yeah.
It was very not standardized training. And I also know I would miss body parts. Training is always mental energy, physical energy. Physical energy, you can input like food and everything. But if you input the wrong food, then there will be a detriment, sacrifice your mental energy in a sense. That's why you want to clean bulk. But even if I have my physical health in check, my mental health or my mental focus was elsewhere, focusing on the podcast editing, everything. So the idea of being able to multi-focus, right, is a scam. Like there's no, multitasking is just juggling a few things at the same time. You're changing your attention from this to that, to this to that. Like you're not doing both at the same time. Unless you are doing some like low cognitive, like you can walk and you can talk, stuff like that.
So you're saying that without structure, you were just coping. It's not really, you're just juggling bulk.
It was an afterthought. Yeah.
So it wasn't like I want to have hypertrophy in this.
I wasn't aiming for the best optimal, because I knew that if I wanted to really put on, because with hypertrophy you need to push yourself to your limits in terms of like strength. So the load needs to go up higher. I didn't have access to the gym, so gym have actually heavy weights. I just had a resistance band, which I think it helped train my mind muscle connection more.
Yeah. Honestly, in my opinion, hypertrophy, if you want to maximize, you need to progressive overload in terms of the weight that you do, how heavy is it, and how intense is it. But usually I'll just aim for intensity. No matter what, just aim for intensity. Just muscle under tension instead of how heavy is it. Like to me, of course, if you want to maximize, you need to dial in everything. But like I said, focus. I just want to focus on intensity so that like my body first is worked. I put enough stress on the muscles. So like second is that if let's say if I gym when I'm not focused, I won't injure myself. Because whenever I go heavier, I tend to twist like my wrist or whatever more because I lose a bit of focus. I still go there at the intensity, but like when I slow down or whatever, it's too heavy or something. So to me, bulking, as long as you're growing your muscles. If it's maintenance, whatever, you want to do some deloading, I don't count that as bulking. Maybe on your active recovery days, you want to do some deloading, it's fine. Like basically lifting at a lighter weight, but still with the same amount of like intensity in a sense. You still stress a muscle enough. Yeah. So personally, I think bulking don't need to be maximizing hypertrophy, but you need to use the extra calories you have to push yourself a bit more in the gym or I during your workouts, the body weight workouts, your pull-ups, just squeeze a bit more for a bit longer or do a few more reps. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just having to acknowledge the opportunity cost in terms of mental resource, focus as a whole. So it's like if you focus on one thing consistently for an extended period of time, then you will actually see, like compounded progress.
Yep.
With the gym, I started off, obviously the newbie gains. I had like the first 5 months of going to the gym. I started off in my friend's condo gym. And that was after I lost my 10 kg. And it was at like the lightest I've been in like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years or something. Yeah. So then from that sort of blank slate, I was really like lean and I lost all my weight. And it's weight, not like fat. I didn't lose fat only because I know that eating processed chicken, eating and just like working out at home on a calisthenics mat.
Do you count how much protein you're getting? The processed chicken part?
No, I mean up
Roughly,
from then
do
to
you know?
now, I've never sort of I never counted my calories, but I occasionally will like one-time things. I will try to get a baseline. If for example, I meal prep every day now, so I get a baseline of how much I'm getting. Like even before I started my work.
So you never really read the macros at all throughout your.
I mean, I always prioritize protein. Like it was like which can of sardines or which can of tuna has the most protein and everything. I would like do those baseline things. Then I'll just take more. And
so the time you say when you go on processed chicken, do you roughly know like how many pieces a day you eat? How much protein is there?
No, it was quite literally starving myself and eating carnivore chicken only, processed meat only. And Igor Voitenko, this calisthenics guy, I was just following his routine. Like he had like 30-day ab challenge, push-up challenge, like all those kind of things. That's what I segued into like when I actually got into fitness. Because it was just me alone at home. I was spending my time either gaming with my friends or watching shows. Like those are the two things I mostly did. And it was like, oh, but then when my friends are away, when I have no good shows, I've already watched like all the shows like I want to watch, and I'm bored. I've watched TikTok for 10 hours or like YouTube. What will I do with my time? Then it was like realizing then I heard about eventually Andrew Tate carnivore. It's like, oh, actually I like meat only. If you can like bring me this benefit, like it was like the easiest step to me then.
Yep. I think we started the same way, like doing a lot of these challenges. More of like we have like this momentary like phases of our life there, but we will like push ourselves to like do some push-ups at home. For me, I would just like push myself, go to the gym every single day. I went like every weekday. The time I was working 7 days a week, like part-time different jobs. But I would like all the weekdays I would still go to the gym. No matter how sore, I'll just go do some bicep curl and go home. My whole gym session, including showering, will be less than 30 minutes, including showering. Just saying. Yeah.
But just getting that first step in.
Getting to the gym.
Like
it builds the habit.
Yeah.
Then, the routine changes alongside going to the gym.
It's like the idea of identity change, right? It isn't overnight, instantly. You don't snap and then become, I go to the gym. It's just a lifestyle for me now. I'm part of this. You start off always with small little doses of periods. Like, I care about fitness. I'm training for my NAPFA in Singapore. It's some fitness test.
Then you tell yourself that I want this. Like, either I want to lose weight, or I want to get fitter, or I want to reach this. Like, I don't know, gold, silver, is it? I never really
or even
done
IPPT for NS people.
Like, you have all these goals that you say, I want to try. I'm going to do it. Then you will slowly attract that identity. Some people, they don't do the identity shift, but they still got there. But some people do it first. Like, all the identity shifting, so that you are what you will achieve the things that your identity does, in a sense. Like, if you want to do well in a sport, you become the athlete instead of doing what the athlete does.
You change your
you become
belief.
the athlete. You change your belief, you change your identity. But for a lot of us, when we start this type of thing, before we learn about all this, for me, it's more like momentary motivation from, I guess, like YouTube videos, other people shouting in your face, all this. Then you be like, let me push myself. For me, I started with like knee push-ups, female push-ups. There's a lot of it, to the point I can do 1, 2, 2. Remember in secondary school, the first day I can do my first push-up, I was like damn happy. I could do 2 in one day, because like when you do knee push-up, you push until it like burns and stuff. The strength builds from there. So I one shot do 2, I'm like, oh shit, this is the greatest feeling ever. Then to the first time I'm able to do my pull-up, it feels magical. Like, I can never did a pull-up in my life, never. And the first time you
that
pull
feeling
up,
is
you're like, what is this? Like, but to reach there, I started with like negatives. I jump up, then slowly release. And I do all the weight, the machine, the gym assisted pull-up machine. Let's start with those first. Then let pull downs, all this.
I actually relate like way too much. Way too much.
I think a lot of people start with this style of like smaller things. Then when
the thing is that all these small little things, right? They may be temporary, and it's all based on like extrinsic motivation. So it's like people around you trying to like motivate you, watching motivational videos, even like having that, like that burst of motivation that pushes you to do something. But because it is such a high peak, then eventually you'll fall off. Sorry, at least the mic didn't fall off. It will continue. It will like peak and drop, and then from there you will just go back to your normal again. But it is that fundamental, like on the belief, self belief, that sort of change that will actually slowly like, and you will actually like elevate your baseline completely.
Because for the first time in your life, you realize that you are self-disciplined, although you rely on motivation, but you still done it. Like the action, the physical thing, you going through the motion, the pain, you still did it. Even though it crashes afterwards, or maybe you lose motivation again, then you stop doing it.
You have some proof that you did it.
The evidence is there. And the evidence increases your baseline, because it increases your self-esteem, you get more confident. So next time, a harder challenge comes about. Like this time is, let's say, like 30 push-up a day. You have done it. It's painful. But next time around, because first your capacity does increase by a bit. You have built some foundation, some muscles, some bone density, everything. Your brain also probably increase its capacity or something through more blood flow, because previously you have been like sedentary. So you get all these small benefit, and you know that you can do more. And this time around, you might push yourself a bit harder. Maybe this time around, instead of 30, you go sign up a gym membership, and you go for like push, pull, split, kind of like bro split workout for the next. You dedicate yourself 6 weeks or something to try to see whether you can bulk up or you can cut weight and build muscles. Small little things like this build the self-esteem for you to try harder things. Then it becomes a feedback loop.
It's the smallest step. You can never undermine the importance of like the smallest little step, because small things. Do you know of the Fibonacci sequence?
Mm-hmm.
So like 1, then 2, then 4, then 8, then 16. Like it goes on like
It's
that.
the golden ratio, right?
Yeah, I think
It goes to
has
the
to
golden ratio.
yeah.
Yeah.
So small wins. So these are little wins. You're winning. Just internal. So extrinsic motivation, the world around you.
Yep.
Then there's intrinsic motivation where your feel good hormones, chemicals, all those happiness chemicals in your brain. You're just, oh, I did this. Then you allow yourself to be joyful about, I accomplished this. Like all those small little things, even the smallest like thing, like signing up for a gym membership, taking a 15-minute walk, then you can go to after every meal. Like all those small little like natural progressions will eventually lead to just, first of all, it's a virtuous cycle.
Yep.
So you're having better mental clarity and everything stemming from better mental health. But then eventually it will just become your new baseline. And your baseline, you just need to get a baseline to like a healthy level, right?
Yeah.
Where you're not suffering day to day.
Basically, you got higher standards for yourself. In the realm of like things that you are paying attention to. If it's fitness, you just get fitter and fitter as a person. You just have better habits, better lifestyles, make better choices, have better reference experience to think back. Oh, when I do this, I feel better. Even though in the moment it feels like shit. Like now, when I see myself like bulked up with a nice, I would say it's nice body, I don't really think, oh, I suffer a lot. Like you don't really think about that. Just happen.
You forget all the like
All
pain,
the pain, all the
if you
injuries or whatever.
If you do look back, all you really see is just the effort you put in.
Yeah.
Like you cannot really remember the pain unless you have like, that's traumatic like experience. Like all these are slow controlled doses of damage because you have to break down the muscle in order for it to rebuild.
Yeah.
You have to sort of impose some stress on yourself, a healthy level of stress, so that you can even your body, like not too much to the point where your body has to, completely like restructure everything like trauma. But it is just little doses of trauma that help you to grow.
What about like what you just said? What about on the topic that we mentioned before, yo-yo diet? How does it? Why is it different though? Why people yo-yo diet but their baseline didn't increase?
Yo-yo diet.
Because they eat very healthy for a while. Then once they crash, once they burn out, they just go back to their normal lifestyle. A lot of them stay there. Or they go yo-yo diet again. Why doesn't yo-yo diet keep the momentum up?
With diets, what you're doing is imposing a restriction. So you're restricting yourself to only a set amount of food or food ingredients or groups. Like you're excluding things, you're eliminating things.
Okay.
And
usually following yo-yo diet, my theory could be you don't learn a lot of some like mental skills. Your brain don't really need to wire that much. You just follow a certain like restriction.
I mean, it's guidelines, which is helpful in a sense where you have some order, some structure to cling on to. But with that structure, it also brings your exclusion. And I want to, this is an idea I've been sort of playing with recently that has formed in my brain. But I have to link it to the Bible.
Okay.
And it's the very first book of the Bible, Genesis. Hey, Genesisters. Okay.
I just know today is the first time I heard about Genesis, but I didn't know that it was the first book. So learning.
It's like Genesis is people call it like, oh, it's the Genesis, the beginning, like in the
Okay.
Yeah.
You love your own joke.
Yes.
Way to ruin your own joke.
I mean, it's not really ruining.
Super funny.
Because I don't know, with jokes, I think I'm making them for me more than anybody. Like people make jokes to sort of decompress the room around them, maybe, or even like
themselves.
So
selfish.
Oh,
I
so
make
selfish.
jokes for people to make people's day.
Oh.
Yeah.
You've never made my day before.
Because your sense of humor sucks.
Anyway, so Genesis as a whole, right? The beginning of creation, let's say, there was Adam and Eve, so the first ever couple. And then what was their first sin, like the original sin, like the first wrong thing they ever did? It was eat the forbidden fruit. So God basically said, oh, this is the one tree in the entire Garden of Eden that you cannot eat, like fruit from. Don't eat the fruit. And then after that, there was a serpent, and then they convinced Eve to eat the fruit. And after that, Adam also got persuaded by Eve or gave in.
Oh, but I heard some podcast or something that have the perspective that the serpent was actually helping them to bring humanity into their lives. To like give them the experience. If instead of just like they become human, they have to eat that fruit, they have to commit the first sin in order to have all these like in order to have all these things, whatever. Then it's like there's nothing. They say it's a very slippery character or something, the snake, but it's not. It's not the devil or something.
I mean, you can like attach different like spiritual connotations or like labels, religious connotations to it, but like on a for that.
Okay.
I think
you can continue your point on yo-yo diet.
I mean, okay, the fruit in general, right, was the tree was the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So like knowledge in a sense. Yeah, you mentioned like humanness. It gave them made them human. But what exactly is a human? A human is a finite being with like flaws and inadequacies and everything. So before that, supposedly they were like perfect, or they were not. They had like no blemishes. Like they were not doing wrong things. So I mean, you can look at it. Yeah, frame it from many perspectives. Whether it's good or bad. I mean, if that story were to be true, then that is the reason why we are the way we are now, in a sense. But yeah, okay, linking back to the fruit, yo-yo diets. So when you're on a diet, you're restricting things, restricting other food groups or ingredients. And what you're doing is just imposing, like, you're making things like other food groups the forbidden fruit.
Okay. So you didn't really shift your focus away towards something good. You just
made something bad.
Make something,
like
just use
that. Like if you take it, that's you being bad. Like
it's still on the negative. Yeah. And also to me, it's like if you don't learn when you are focusing on the things that are bad, you don't learn the benefit of the good, or you don't learn what has like, let's say if you push yourself, like let's say you try to do like 30 push-ups, your first ever 30 push-ups. Through the process, you learn how to push yourself. You learn the goods. Like you have to focus on the good things. So I think diet-wise, it's easier to go to focus on the negative, and at the same time, the only thing you learn is how to exhaust your willpower. I guess your willpower does increase.
I mean, it's reducing your freedom, but you're sacrificing freedom in terms of like dietary, whatever.
Yeah.
Just to gain a certain benefit.
And also biologically, exercising has always been like we needed to survive. So it's aligned with our survival. Diet-wise, eating more hyperpalatable food is aligned with our survival. So it's easier to bounce back.
And it's only recently that we've had access to the entire industry has gone up. Exercise has always been like, oh, you can just, last time it used to be you can just go outside and walk, and even before that, hunt down some animal or something.
Yeah, but it's more, what I mean is like the reason why gymming, after you get some reference experience, you get some evidence, you tend to get better at it. You tend to want to exercise more, want to use your body more for more things, build more muscles, burn more fats. The way it differs from diets is that diet is easy to get rewarded. The reward and cost ratio is very, very misaligned. When you eat something that is like, I don't know, some donuts, Krispy Kremes,
yes,
you tend to, the reward in your brain signals goes through the roof, and it's easier to stick with. Oh, let me just stick with this shit diet now, because in your body, in your mind, the subconscious way, without conscious thought, is like, oh, I'm just eating for survival. It feels good in my brain. It must mean something. Like we talk about this, when your brain will signal or your body will signal to you when you're eating something good or bad. If something tastes good, it's probably good for you. But when it comes to hyperpalatable processed food, it doesn't apply there. It's more on natural whole foods. If something is super, super, super bitter and you just feel like puking it out, it might not sit well with your body. If you go into the system, you probably want to get it out.
It's a natural, there's a reason probably why you're
Yeah.
naturally sort of rejecting it.
Although I heard bitter gourd is good.
There's like, okay, with herbs or with certain, I guess, flavors, plant defense chemicals, all that stuff. It could be good, could be bad. I mean, it's up to you if you're able to stomach it. And if it's not having any adverse consequences, impacts.
It's more like, maybe it's like progressive overloading so that you get used to, your body is stronger because of like the constant stresses.
You have to like take the like poison, like little doses of the poison until it eventually becomes the antidote.
Microdosing on poison.
There's no way to really, there's no real antidote. It's just, but obviously it's the dose. That's why you want to maintain the dose, not excess.
Just knowing what works with your body first, then how much dose will come. It will come to you naturally. Once you know A causes bloatedness, if you eat this amount, you probably will dose it properly.
Yeah. You have to make the mistake to even like learn from it.
Yeah.
Necessary evil.
Yeah, for me, the bloatedness that during my bulk I had was popcorn. I'll order organic popcorn kernels and just pop it at home with some I think I use extra virgin coconut oil to pop it. And I'll just either put sea salt, like Himalayan pink salt on it, or sometimes I'll drizzle some honey or allulose to mix it in. And the allulose I'll mix with cinnamon powder as well. So it becomes like cinnamon sugar.
Wow.
So it actually tastes very good, but I eat a lot of it to the point that because of the high fiber content, I get very bloated. Yeah, so I stopped already because I know if I keep going, I won't stop. Yeah, I'll eat a lot of it in one sitting. I can go one whole big bowl of popcorn and 2 of it. Like after I finish one, I'll just go make another batch immediately while watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Okay. I want to like open up about because I have had periods of obviously bulking and then cutting, and it's not been let's say standard. It's always been like one stint of I'm just gonna bulk. Like like I said earlier, if you focus on one thing continually, like do something consistently, then you will like eventually like take off. You'll actually see like greater results.
But for you,
for me, it's just been like with all my sort of rapid development. So it was 5 months of gymming, like started getting to health, everything. Like then once you got into learning, and then like once I started learning, I went into business, everything. Then I started thinking, business, listening to Hamza's advice, then go straight carnivore. Then like I cut down to the necessary minimum effective dose sort of thing. Kettlebell swings at home. That's sort of I stopped going to the gym even though I had the freedom to in the past. And then I lost. Yeah, I originally bulked up, but that bulk. I'll go into that later. But that bulk got me from like 60 to like 68 kg. Then after that, and it was a dirty bout. Yeah. Then after that, I slowly lost until like 64 again, 65. So in the end, what did I actually put on muscle wise in terms of new gains in that 5 or 6 months? That was like 3 or 4 kg only. Like that I can be sure of in a sense. And it's like then after that, I had a period of season of business maybe. Then after that, I had my going back into bulking everything, putting on more mass again towards the start of this year. Yeah. And I paused again. Then I started the podcast again. Then it went back down again. So it's always like I made so many changes. Maybe because I was just going through layers of purpose.
But I know a lot of advice say that that's not good.
Yeah, it is exactly. I know it's not good. That's why. Yeah.
But do you really think it's not good?
in a sense that I believe my selling point is my brain, not my body. My body is a secondary thing. And like I said last episode, for me, it was just getting to a baseline. So that first baseline level of health already like contributed a lot, to thinking clarity. Basically, my entire quality of life was just shifted. Like my eyes, like from blurry vision, it went to like I could actually see things clearly without all the perhaps estrogen from stored in the fat, everything.
Okay.
But then I allowed other people's the external sort of feedback, the advice being thrown at me by Hamza, by a lot of people, or a lot of it's internal as well. Like I want to be like
because
pride.
we are just
I want to
young.
be aesthetic, yeah.
Because we are young. That's why we have a lot of things that we are still figuring things out.
We're figuring out our desires,
and
our
also
wants.
like how we are conditioned our focus span on like focusing on one thing is very low. Like we switch goals quite quickly. For me also, like I got the exact same problem, but I would say even worse. I would literally go on 3 days bulk, then 3 days cut, 3 days bulk, 3 days cut. I do like a lot of fasting. So my calories could go from like 1 day 5,000 for a few days, then go to like 1 day 2,300 for a few days, and maybe faster as well. Yeah, so I jump a lot. But the thing I realized is that this, even though it seems like, okay, I would say overall result wise, I won't get as much, but it's still a net positive by going into like, in a sense, like yo-yo, like you do up, down, up, down. But I realized that this focus span thing increases over time. I'm able to dial down on one thing more. Like if I go on my first monk mode, it's harder to stay consistent. The second one will be easier, third one will be easier. Yeah, things like that.
Shrinking the timeline for you to like figure it out.
Yeah, and it's more of an intuitive way now. Instead of like me needing to push myself to do I guess a 4-week cut or whatever. I just set the intention I want to reach this goal, then you just reach there by itself. How I get there, the details will be more based on intuition. Like if I need to lose weight now, or if I'm feeling like previously when I told you I go on a bulk like recently, if I feel that bad and everything around my life is causing me to, it's not really helping me to cut or whatever, then I'll just allow myself to go on a bulk, build the muscles first, then I'll cut. Yeah, just to reach the goal. Become intuitive.
I think Jeff Bezos said this. Be stubborn on the vision, but flexible about the details.
But I guess in order to do that, a beginner, you say that to them, they don't know what to do because they do not have any experience yet. I think it's really over time.
Yeah, so you have to really expand the time horizon.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to keep doing up down up down up down up down, like slowly, like the progression, it may still progress, but if you just sustain growth over, really sustain 1% every day, better every day, that sort of thing, slowly sustain growth over up down up down up down up down. Obviously it's not going to be sustained like that, but like if you do like set your mind to something, to really have that end vision in mind, really have a larger goal, and then extend the time horizon. So maybe 1 year, maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years. Just extend that, have that vision in mind, so that the how you can figure it out. Like you give yourself leeway. And once you're no longer in that sort of short term, like I want to look like abs in 90 days. I want to get that, like that. Once you get past that sort of extrinsic, that short term, because that is also short term pleasure. People will sell you like get X result, like ideal outcome in like this amount of like time, this set amount of time, very short. So you will perceive it to be like, oh, this is something I want, and I can get it in this short of a time. Like then you go and buy the product, you go and do whatever training they.
And more often than not, this type of like intensive for like this amount of time will sacrifice a lot of things. First, you won't feel good.
It'll be a large lifestyle change for you.
Second, you're learning the wrong thing. You're learning how to punish yourself you're trying to reward your future self by punishing your current self. instead of just doing the things you need to do, like as a normal person would. Like if you need to gym, you just gym, you need to go work out. Instead of like pushing yourself to run twice a day for some people do 75 hard. I've done it also. It helps, but like it's kind of like punishing. You're not really learning anything, but of course 75 hard got other protocols that help with your general growth. But what I want to drive down is the fact that a lot of people use these style of things like X result in Y days and they get obsessed over that to a point that they just keep using that for the rest of their lives and they miss out on a lot of things. Because usually when you are focusing on one thing, you are missing out on a lot of things that can help in the long run with whatever original good goal that you have. So you just set bigger goals, include other intrinsic desires that you have, like socializing. A lot of people, we want to have good people around us. We want to have fun. We have most fun when we are around people. But a lot of people, I have to run today, so I'm part of this challenge, so let me just do this. I don't think that's the right thing. When you first start, maybe you can. But if you keep doing it, you lose the intuition.
That's not being smart. You're just being a dumb optimizer.
Yeah. Is it the first few episodes I asked you, like, do you really want to keep doing meal prep? Because at first, maybe now is the right time to do it, to learn how to meal prep, to make it easy. But once you do it enough, then what if you have to rely on that in order to stay in shape? Then you will lose out on maybe some socializing. I mean now you're not, but at that point of time, I could see that there's a chance that like you just keep going. I have to eat this. I can't eat this after this time, and it becomes a bit. It sacrifices some things lah.
I know. I noticed it sacrifice. That's why in the beginning I was also like no dinner, like sacrificing socializing and eating because people bond over food, that sort of thing. For me now, like first of all, because it's like a really based on my lifestyle then, like
and also like cost, resources.
Yeah. For me, because I always prioritize like health over everything else in a sense, because it's the baseline of everything, the table. At that point, I didn't even have the like options. I got so that's why close-minded in that sort of I boxed myself into I sleep at like 9 to 10 p.m. every day. Then because of that early bedtime, then I don't want to eat too close to bedtime. So then it was like working backwards from that. All those imposed restrictions was sort of trapping me. Like I had sort of no freedom. I was being a tyrant to my own self. I was like enforcing all these rules, strict rules. I know
like unreasonable leader. Like last episode talk about like shitty bosses. You're like, you can't do this. No, cannot.
No. Yep.
If not, I insult you or I cut your pay. Like you punish yourself for having freedom. Yeah,
that in my brain I was just like, that's why I said, it pains me more to sacrifice my health than what if I were to like. That's why it's always comparing the pain of I guess the pain of trying versus the pain of like just never like seeing your potential. Do you want to? For me, it's easier to say no to people. Saying no in and of itself to like people giving you like snacks or everything, it's a default you have to change. Like you really have to. Your ability to say no is like one of the things that will like this like willpower as a whole, like staying disciplined to yourself. Like that is the main thing.
For me, I just lie. I just say I got some condition that I cannot eat that. Like people offer me sweets, offer me bubble tea, whatever. I'm like, I cannot. I really cannot. Like this timing, if I eat, I will get this. I got like this mega condition. I don't know whether they believe it or not. But it's an easier way for me to say no. It's because like I feel like every time I reject something, I'm like, this is not good for me, so I don't eat it. Then it's like, shit, they feel bad about themselves. Maybe if I'm closer to them, I'll do that. I'll be more harsh. But if it's someone like I don't really talk to that much, I'll be more polite in the rejection.
The thing is that there are many ways to say no. You don't have to directly say no. Like Essentialism like has a whole chapter. Like he covers like I really recommend reading that. Yeah.
One good way to say no is just bark at the. I made that.
Being a dog.
Just like
you've become a bitch.
Speed.
What?
Speed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you always like bark at people. Yeah, just do that next time people offer you candy. There's some candy. I'm not gonna bark.
Barking up the wrong tree. So I mean, yeah,
Okay. I want to help you justify that period of time though. Because to you, that was an experimental phase. Although it wasn't a ideal thing, but you were learning, you were getting reference experience. And not only that, you had limited resources. Next time, you probably won't do it when you got enough money that you can eat outside and still get quality food. Now you have to meal prep to save money.
Yeah, I don't have the access to high quality food
Yeah.
at different because obviously there's a premium price to every premiums of quality ingredients of
and also your friends don't have resources. As we all rise together, of course, those that keep going to eat cheap food, then
I mean, it's just why go why would I try to fix my health alone without trying to help those around me? Then it's okay, now I don't have the financial capability to help them, so I'll just eat my own meal prep, and I'll maybe say no to when they order pizza to work or something.
Yeah. There's some food that you will just your standard has reached to a point that no matter what you won't say yes to. Yeah.
And I think the feedback I've gotten, because that's what sort of keeps me you always feedback as a whole, it will always be biased, so you always find things to justify, validate what you believe. And all I've heard is just from people around me oh yeah, it's good that you're getting your health, eating good food, healthy food, everything. Wow, so healthy, your food.
But they say it in a way that you kind of know that it's like, oh, you're weird.
Obviously
in
it's
some
weird,
sense,
but
they'll be like, oh,
in a
you're
sense,
healthy, but
you're good for being
cool.
You're weird but good. It's like a double-handed.
Yeah. I personally, I won't do what you do, but yeah, good for you.
Yeah, that's why it's because obviously they themselves know that it comes with. I know that
there's a price to pay.
You have to actually pay a price of whether it's saying no or even trying to pay for the food itself or quality ingredients. And I know that if I continue down this path and work on myself, work on business, everything, financial freedom maybe, then I will be able to maybe treat friends to a better, nicer restaurant where there are better options, and I can just treat them to healthier food instead of, because the cheaper options are the shittier, all the fries, all the carbs are cheap, and they are the free sides that come with everything. The restaurants, it costs them 10 cents to curate that. And then for the steak and everything, those will cost more, and there's a reason for that.
And also, last thing to touch on this is it's always reversible. To unweird yourself, it's always just I'm gonna stop doing this. Let me just go back, but I'll still keep some of the things that I learned, what does eating this food does to my body, what does eliminating this food from my diet does to my body. You keep all these small little references back into your daily life. You raise your standards. But you can always reverse the strict diet or whatever. Once I'm off carnivore, when we go and eat, there's more options. But I'll pick better options at those shittier places that I go to, those without meat. Okay, I say shittier as in I will just pick better carb sources, I guess. Yeah, fruits or whatever. Then potatoes, whole foods from carnivore back to non-carnivore. I ate everything, but I pick better sources. My standards rises. I'll go for organic popcorn instead of microwavable popcorn. Yeah, things like this.
It's just using the lessons you learn from that period of time, so you know okay, so if I don't have any of all these other things, then okay, I know how to make better choices now with new experience, new set of information. As a whole, I think I told you this before. My life has always been, I go to one extreme, maybe, then after I go to the other, then I try it out, figure out oh, there's this benefit, there's this pro, this con. Then I'll go to this other extreme. And then over time, I will just naturally, with this set of information, widening my experience of one specific endeavor or field. So maybe training, maybe diet. Then I'll narrow down to what is actually sustainable for me. And it's going beyond because in the beginning you're just barely surviving. You fix your baseline health, you're not surviving. But from there, once you're in the survival, you can survive already. You want to optimize even further so you can go to a like thriving sort of mode, right? Because everyone is constantly trying to make their life easier. You want your life to be better, not worse. Unless you're like, I don't know what unless there is.
Because we all default to our baseline, and to deviate from there takes willpower. So we want to free up willpower for future use. So we raise our baseline further to thriving, so that our baseline is good. So that we don't need to spend willpower on to just to be able to perform.
Yeah, it becomes hedonic adaptation. So you would just constantly like adapt, like this will become your new normal. Then okay, from here, how do I go to the next step? It's always the next step. But trying to like do maybe a fat diet, it could be just go to like the extreme, like what I said earlier. But it's trying to skip the steps. Like maybe the mistake in all that going to extreme, was just that I myself have learned is you cannot skip the steps. Like the smaller steps matter, but it is having that end vision in mind. So I know what I want to get in eventually. Then I cannot skip the steps, because if I skip a step, like I jump from level 1 to level 5, then I fall back down. Like imagine walking up the stairs or like climbing a mountain. If you try to just like, I don't know, use some trampoline and jump like all the way up, like then you slide back down. Like what's the point? You're back to where you were, maybe even like lower down.
Yeah.
So it's not sustainable at all. You want sustainable, and for sustainable, you need to go up like step by step, like secure.
Provided you want to keep going up. Some people just want to get the experience of jumping.
Yeah,
just to see more. Then okay, let me go on to another.
Climb up another mountain.
Climb another mountain.
It's like you climb up one mountain, then go back down, then climb up one mountain. Like
it goes back to
you have to climb up one mountain to even be able to see like the peak, or there's another mountain over there. Like I can climb that. Like so that's the mistake. I think like but you're learning from it.
Mistake provided you already know what you want. I think.
And you have to reflect. You have to do something you don't want to figure out that you don't want it, right?
Yeah. And once you realize kind of like what you're optimizing for in life, because like we talk about the Sims, like what do you want to climb the mountain? Your life goal is just to climb this big mountain as high as you can, or you want to climb different mountains, then jump off, then never be able. Like if you want to climb back up, you have to take the same amount of effort again. It's all up to you.
It's really all up to you.
Yeah. So we always default back to everything we just talked about is worthless. Gym, diet, mindsets, all still you still really need to figure out how you want to navigate through. Like if you want to build a body, how do you want to get there? Do you want to take steroids? Like things like this. A lot of people never figure that out. They just do. That's when they fuck up a lot.
When they're just looking at the short term, really.
So if you want to go on a bulk, have a journaling session to find out why first and how you're gonna achieve it, and the way you achieve it, what are the pros and cons? Is there a better way to do it? Then once you write out all these things, you realize there's a right way for you based on what you want. Yeah.
Are you in a hurry? If you're young, like around our age, or like even if you're old, right? You're gonna die sort of anyway. So it's like what everyone's gonna die at the end of the day. Like what do you have to lose in a sense? You can set, if you're like 60 years old, you can set a goal for when you're 80 years old. Then maybe just because you set a goal in your head, right? You just like keep you alive like somehow, some like psych yourself into living longer. You don't know. Like you have to, for the most baseline, like if your health is like horrendous, let's say, you need to get your first baseline health like in order. You need to slowly take the small steps, like really take the small steps. I think our past episodes we covered like a lot of the foundational sort of fundamental things.
Yeah. So this episode we mostly just touch on the additional stuff, gym and the yo-yo effect, all this, how we deal with it, why does it happen. It's all, I think we have a lot of experience, because like for somebody that bounce back and forth between like weight classes, we realize that a lot of people struggle with this, and there's a lot more unhealthy people nowadays because it's easier. No matter where you are, it's getting easier. Things are getting more expensive, so the cheaper stuff will stand out because the price will remain, because of the like you said, fast food, all these, the restaurants, all the fries, their profit margin is so high that with inflation, with cost of living, cost of goods going higher, they can stomach that. They can absorb the cost.
And the thing with a lot of my meal prep, everything, when I share like how much I spend on food, like expenses, when people are looking at options on the menu to order or even to like in the actual restaurant, they always default to the sort of smallest price tag because we are so, maybe we haven't made it yet, we are not accomplished enough, or maybe it's just because conditioning, everything like we are just oriented to, okay, I have this finite amount of money, like I cannot spend too much, I need to save it, like that's why they'll just default to the option without even thinking about all the health aspect. And it's very tough because money, I think we want to talk about it in a future episode.
That's why I think one of the episodes we talk about my philosophy and your philosophy, you going extreme versus me raising my standards to a level where I can maintain, that I stay there. Like for instance, back then I was just optimizing for more protein, macros, because it's sustainable. I can go for cheaper options or whatever, and it's better than high processed food, a lot of carbs, sugar. So to some people, if you want fast progress in something and you got the resources to, I think your method will work wonders, because you get a lot of exposure in a short amount of time, and you, with the focus and intensity, you are able to build just more progress. You'll be faster and more focused. Like it's the essentialism concept.
I mean, it's you have to allow people to make mistakes, to try things out. Like, what was the word? I just forgot the word. What did you just say? It was the book as essentialism. Essentialism as a whole, like an essentialist tries out many different things before they realize what works for them. Then they just like continue there, like go down that path. I think that's why I originally at the start of the year that worked for me, but I didn't even try out other alternatives like different sleeping times, everything, eating, and it was a natural progression. I tried that. Maybe that was something I was also trying. I thought I was done trying things. I was like, this works for me, but I got too rigid. Yeah.
Okay.
And I have to like preface that with health as a whole, like we have to acknowledge that not everyone is like us, where we're like so like we got so, our rock bottom was so deep in a sense. Like most people, if they have like good parents, like a good environment,
we don't have good parents.
No. Yeah,
most people have good parents, but we really don't.
Oh yeah, we had
my parents. Oh, but if you're watching,
I love you.
Yeah, I don't mean it.
No, but like it's the environment, right? The people and the place.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
So
people and place.
Yeah, most people have maybe more average families, everything. And that's why, the idea of comfortable, like complacency. So like Chris Williamson talked about this, but basically you're slightly like uncomfortable, but then because it hasn't gotten to that point where you're like, oh, I'm actually getting poked in the leg, like someone is poking me underneath the table. Okay, that was a joke. Yes, no one's poking me on the table. Cal is not poking me on the table. Whether this is true or false, you will never know. Anyway, yeah. So basically, it's like you're getting just like slightly nudged, like slight poke, but it's not enough for you to do anything.
Yeah.
But it's only like maybe after a lot of time, like because it's not sustainable as a whole. You like notice when somebody like, you have to first of all take a look at it and like, oh, someone's poking me. Maybe then you realize that, then like, okay, I need to fix this. Like,
yeah,
like why are you poking me? Like that sort of thing. Like if not, you just go about life with someone poking you for the rest of your life. Like you never turn back, and then like that's why most people are just going around sort of unconscious about like things that are poking them and eventually gonna like wear away at them.
Basically, it's better to be bad than mediocre, because mediocre means you either stay stagnant or you slowly.
It's a slow damage, slight decline. Yeah.
The damage is so little that you don't even realize. Death by 1,000 cuts.
Death by 1,000 cuts. Yes.
Yeah. It's a very, very interesting. I guess, like last point. I think even our camera died, so we want to around this episode of, I think it's very valuable for people that experience some sort of like massive weight gain, that you are currently trying to gym your way out of it, or maybe you just want to build muscle and you're skinny. I think for either side, you still get to learn something. Yeah. Any last finishing thoughts?
Allow yourselves to make mistakes, but the important thing is you reflect on them, and then also your standards as a whole, right? Maybe increase them 1% better every day. That's like 37 times better by the end of the year. Then 1% worse every day, like it goes down to zero in a sense. So there is like a limit to like how low you can go.
Okay.
So like from 1 to 0, there's like this limit. But from like 1 to 37, there's like no limit to like how high you can actually like fly.
Yeah.
Like a bird.
And if you take that deep, the L, if you make mistakes, which we all do, as long as you hold yourself accountable, you're responsible for your life. Don't blame others. Don't have the victim mentality. Then it should be fine. You're good to go. Just keep going.
Just keep going.
Life is just about keeping the going.
Keeping the going.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Bye.
See you next episode.